Hello, my name is Lieutenant Commander John Woods and I'm from the U.S. Naval Academy. Alright, so we've been up here in Barrow for about 5 days already, and we actually built a buoy, our own buoy, out down to Naval Academy as part of an engineering, design, and build project. And that buoy is out there measuring atmospheric conditions, so sea level pressure and air temperature, as well as it has a webcam on it. So they're actually going to be able to get real-time observations from the ice. Alright, so welcome to Ice Goat 1. This is the U.S. Naval Academy's first Arctic observing buoy. It was built in about 2 months as part of a midshipman student research project. The project was funded by the Office of Naval Research and the United States Naval Academy STEM office. And basically we had 2 students, midshipman First Class Ben Aspholm from the Aerospace Engineering Department.
Hi, my name is First Class Ben Aspholm. I'm from Littleton, Colorado. We came up here to deploy our buoy, the Ice Goat. I was kind of in charge of designing a power system for it using solar panels and then helping with the communications array. So my experience in Barrow, it's been exciting. It's been an adventure. As I was saying, we had a 100-degree shift from Annapolis when we left. It was a solid 65 degrees when we left there, and then we showed up here with negative 25 or a negative 50 wind chill. So definitely something I hadn't experienced before, but really happy I came up here.
And midshipman Kyle Crowder from the Oceanography Department.
Alright, my name's Kyle Crowder. I'm an oceanography student at the Naval Academy. That's my last year here, so in 80 days I'll be going down to Pensacola, Florida to start flight school. When I got to Barrow, it's a completely new world up here. All the ice is just a ton of fun to go out, out on the ice. While all my friends are on spring break in the Bahamas, on the beach. It's a little bit different, but it's been a ton of fun. I used to live in Anchorage, but this is nothing like that, of course. And it's been a great experience here, and I've really enjoyed myself.
This was basically their senior research project to build this buoy, build it in the lab back at USNA, and then follow it up here to deploy it off of Point Barrow, Alaska. So I'm going to give you kind of a broad overview, and then Ben and Kyle can give you a little bit more detail about what they actually did as part of their project. So we started the buoy with this hull here. This hull is actually an LBI, a Leg Nose Boat Incorporated, AXIB, which is an airborne expendable ice buoy shell. So this shell is actually meant to be deployed out of aircraft and onto the ice. We aren't doing that in this situation here, actually very far from it, but the hull is very proven. It's 4 years survivability rate up in the Arctic Ocean. It's nice because it both floats and it can refreeze back up into the ice. That's why it has this shape here, so it actually, the ice will form around it and almost push the buoy up so it's up on top of the ice. So we started out with that shell, and then we actually built this sort of hybrid system up on top. First off, inside this shell we have 2 lithium-ion batteries that have a lifetime of about 4 years, and they're reporting air temperature, sea temperature, and position via the Argos satellite system, and that satellite transmitter is inside this buoy hull. It also has barometric pressure, which is this port right here. So besides that system that's on the lithium-ion batteries, we also have a solar array where you'll see we have 6 solar panels around the side and 4 solar panels on the top. And this is powering this sort of hybrid webcam system that you see here. Here's the actual webcam, and we have another one on the other side. And those solar panels are powering the webcams and then the Iridium satellite transmission system. And that's this antenna back here. So that is actually taking a webcam image every 15 minutes and then sending it back via satellite to our servers back at USNA. As well on that system, and that system we have to give credit to Stanford Research Institute. They really helped design that, and there's a computer engineer out there, Todd Valentek, who was key to making that system happen. That's also powering this radio antenna that you see up here on the top, and Ben can talk a little bit more about that. Actually, in the satellite lab at the U.S. Naval Academy, they worked a lot more on that. So that's kind of the general overview of the Ice Goat. We got our mascot here. The mascot for the U.S. Naval Academy is Bill the Goat, and that's where it sort of came up with its name. And you can see a lot of the people back in Annapolis actually signed the buoy. We was kind of a big deal trying to get our first operational Arctic buoy out up here onto the ice. You'll notice it's a little bit odd that it's still on a sled. It's not actually been deployed to its final site yet for the next 3 weeks during Bromex. It'll actually be kind of mobile, being able to be deployed at multiple different sites, and then when the experiment's over, they'll take it off the sled and actually put it into the open ocean, and then hopefully it'll float on its way, giving us web images the entire time. So that's sort of the general overview of the Ice Goat, and now I'll turn it over to really focus in on the systems to the midshipmen that really helped build it all.
So inside, as he was saying, we have a small work computer system powering 2 webcams and the Iridium uplink. And that's powered differently from the Argos lithium-ion batteries. It's a hybrid system between just a large lead-acid battery and then the solar panel array on top. Basically, it's only going to be on during the day because it needs a combined voltage and current. So you have the voltage from the battery, and then you have the current being drawn in from the solar panels when the sun hits it. So that's the only time it's on. And once at night, once the sun gets low enough, it's not receiving enough current, it just shuts down for the day and saves power that way, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to run it all night. And plus, taking pictures at night doesn't really do us any good. The other thing I'll talk about is this radio. Professor, my kind of advisor back at USNA, Commander Bob Renninga, this is essentially just a ham radio. He's big into ham radio. He has a lot of small satellite programs, a lot of CubeSats up in space. So the ultimate goal of this is hoping to allow us to use those small satellites to receive packets from the buoy to transmit them back to USNA and then throughout the network, and we could transmit them through each different satellite that he has. We're hoping to maybe turn that on this week. It's an issue of whether the small PCSat orbit comes up this high when it's sun out. So because both systems have to be on because it's an older satellite. So it has to be in the sun, so the sun can power it as well as the buoy to talk to each other. So that's kind of the overall system with that.
You can talk a little bit about how oceanography buoys are important, especially up here in the Arctic.
Definitely. Oceanography buoys have been increasingly important with especially with climate changing, and it has been. Especially this buoy is pretty basic. We're just measuring temperature, air pressure. It can measure sea surface temperature, and then we got us GPS. GPS is great because not only just tells you position, obviously, but it's giving you position over time. You can measure velocity. So if the ice had melted and this buoy was in the water and it's drifting, we can track its velocity, see any current it's moving in, and check it out that way. This buoy itself is pretty basic. We're not really measuring any gases or anything like that, and it's kind of our first attempt to get a buoy up here. However, it's something to build off of for future years, see where we want to go with this, and as well as get kids interested in science as well. We got the cameras on either end. As Lieutenant Commander Woods loves to say, it's hard to show a kid a profile of sea surface temperature and get them really interested, but showing them pictures and maybe throwing a time lapse together gets these kids really interested in science, and we hope that this will do that for them.